Hello and welcome to Downtime Podcast, episode 128. Alyssa's out today. It'll be Jordan and I holding down the fort. What's up, Jordan?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. I came back from a hike all day today, so I'm pretty tired. We're gonna try to keep it short today.
All right.
So before we get into what we're playing and stuff like that, I want to talk about some news things and get your opinions on a couple items from the news. So the first thing is Phil Spencer, Xbox boss, Xbox dad. He said, quote, "When you talk about Nintendo and Sony, we have a ton of respect for them, but we see Amazon and Google as the main competitors going forward. That's not to disrespect Nintendo and Sony, but the traditional gaming companies are somewhat out of position. I guess they could try to recreate Azure, which is their cloud gaming platform.
Yeah.
But we've invested tens of billions of dollars into cloud over the years." So Phil Spencer overall just doesn't consider Nintendo and Sony as the main competitors to gaming because he believes that gaming in the future is going to be all cloud-based. You can play from your phone, you can play from your Xbox. Hardware won't matter. It's about the software and being able to play anything from anywhere.
I agree and disagree. I feel like there will be a market for cloud gaming. I know Stadia is not doing so well, but I think Stadia is kind of just like one of the first iterations of this. Not that this hasn't existed before, but like Stadia is one of the first big iterations of this. And you know, usually when people introduce something for the first time, it doesn't always work properly, and then someone comes along and does it better.
Yeah.
So I think somewhere down the road, cloud gaming is going to be a thing. But I just don't know if it'll appeal to everyone. I think it will appeal to a certain like casual gamer audience. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, there's definitely people who want to play games on the fly, on their phone, wherever. But I think for like your hardcore gamers, the people who are playing up late at night, people who are streamers, people who are playing all the time, I think mostly those people will stick to hardware, like having the games on their own hardware, just because with that you have more control over the settings. If you are a modder, you can mod your own game. I feel like there's still a lot of customization that goes into having the game running on your own hardware.
Not to mention that internet speeds will get better over time, but not everyone can afford those speeds.
That's true too. Yeah, like not everyone in every country is gonna have fast internet speed for cloud gaming.
Sure, yeah. And I know Google's trying to remedy that by having like little towers everywhere to, project better connection to your Stadia console. But yeah, again, it's everyone's saying that it still feels like it's in beta. It's still a beta console and they shouldn't have rolled it out so soon.
Yeah, but a lot of things in gaming are like that, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, even Microsoft's Azure program is not doing very well. I mean, it's better than Stadia, but like not everyone's using it.
Yeah.
Because not everyone has that connection speed.
I think it'll be like VR. It's gonna take a while to actually get it rolling and to get it adopted by everyone. But I think it'll eventually become a thing. But maybe again, like I said, it won't be used by everybody. It's not gonna be the new way to game for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. He did mention that he will still have some kind of console, obviously an Xbox in his house.
Yeah.
In the future, he what he wants to do is just put an Xbox out, download the latest game or whatever game is there, so that he could just play it. So he's like obviously all in for this whole cloud idea, but I don't know if he's considered all the other options as well, with having games in your local system. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know how far this will go into the future.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much it'll improve or what they'll improve on. But yeah, it still seems like it's something that's still in early development.
Yeah, I can see it replacing to a certain extent console gaming. Like some of the issues I mentioned, like with the customization and things like that, mostly applies to PC gaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see cloud gaming eventually replacing console gaming. But like we said, like not everyone's gonna have the same internet speed. Also, what if you want to play games offline?
Yeah.
So even then, I don't know if I feel like consoles will probably still be a thing.
Yeah.
Like way into the future.
Well, also with that said, he said he doesn't really consider Nintendo and Sony as competitors. at its core, they're both Japanese companies.
Yeah.
And Alyssa and I have mentioned this on the podcast before, but a lot of the Japanese audience, they kind of make their own. Those companies make games for their own audience. So
Yeah.
a lot of the Japanese people still like to collect physical things. So they're cartridges, discs for these consoles, and for those companies, their audience comes first. So I mean that's why they have PlayStation America, or they also Sony PlayStation in the US, Nintendo of America, so on and so forth. So although they prioritize their mainland audience, they also consider the audiences overseas, because of course they recognize that. But
yeah, I mean Sony has some IP, some content that's catered more towards a Western audience. Like they bought Insomniac, right?
Sure, yeah.
And Insomniac makes a lot of games, I would say, that are catered more towards a Western audience, especially Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I see the argument for Nintendo, because Nintendo tends to make the Switch is a very different thing compared to the Xbox, and I think a lot of people either have either a PS4 or an Xbox plus a Switch. I feel like Switch is kind of like something that you have in addition to like a one of the higher end consoles. But I think Sony is still a competitor, at least in terms of PS4 versus Xbox.
Right. It seems like Xbox is really trying to push the next gen console so that they'll win that generation.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that PlayStation's won this generation of consoles.
Definitely.
There's no argument there. So it seems like with Phil Spencer saying that statement, maybe he's just trying to get a leg up on all the other companies and being like, hey, we're better than them. We don't really consider them anything. It's just like, come on, dude. You've always been neck and neck with each other. How would you not say that?
Yeah, I think it's, again, he's trying to talk about the future in cloud gaming, because does Sony have a cloud gaming thing?
They don't.
Yeah, so in that aspect, and same, I'm for sure Nintendo doesn't. But yeah, in that aspect, yeah, I get what he's saying. Maybe that's kind of what he's hinting at, is it in the future going forward, because we're doing cloud gaming, Sony and Nintendo aren't going to be competitors. But I would still say at the moment, Sony is probably their biggest competitor.
I also take that back. Sony did have PS Now, which is their streaming service, but it's dead now, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, ironic.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've read mixed things about PS Now, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, it works. It's not the best, but it works. So, yeah, I mean, I still think Sony is a competitor to Xbox, but whether they decide to go into the cloud gaming route or not in the future, it really depends on them. I don't know if they have the infrastructure to do it. It sounds like Microsoft spent a lot of time doing it, a lot of money. I don't know if Sony has that much money.
Yeah, well, because Microsoft is in the in the business of servers and hardware and that kind of infrastructure. Whereas I don't know if Sony has a gaming division, and they make films and they make TVs and things like that. But I don't know if they have that kind of infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll do something different than than Microsoft. Whereas Nintendo is just in the back. They're the toy company. They're just chilling. They consider themselves a toy company, and I guess that's one of the reasons why Phil Spencer's like, yeah, they're not really competition.
Yeah, and again, like I said before, I agree with that, because Nintendo is dominating the handheld market right now, and I don't think Sony and Microsoft are even going to try at this point.
I mean, Sony did try. They did try, but they couldn't do it.
It was never as popular as the DS or as the Game Boy, or it was never going to be as popular. Nintendo has dominated that market, and I think they're just going to hold on to it. Nintendo's biggest competitor at this point is mobile gaming.
Yeah, and yet they have mobile games now.
Yeah,
Animal Crossing, Mario Kart.
Yeah, because they know that some people are not going to buy a Switch, so they might as well get into the mobile market directly.
So I think Nintendo's pretty good on their own.
Yeah, I feel like Nintendo. I really do think Nintendo is its own thing, and its games. And this has been said before, Nintendo's games tend to skew more towards a family-friendly, younger audience. Not that plenty of adults don't play it. I'm going to buy Animal Crossing, even though it's very, it's essentially a family-friendly game. Whereas Xbox and Sony tend to cater more towards older audiences, at least a lot of their games, you could definitely tell like, oh, okay, this is skewed more towards, someone older who probably has a lot more experience with gaming.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about buying a AAA title like Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to buy it on the Switch. It's not on the Switch, as far as I know.
Yeah, not that kids don't play Call of Duty.
Sure.
Obviously, they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely say that's a game skewed more towards an older audience.
Mm-hmm. And people, when they think of shooters like that, they think of like Xbox, PlayStation, PC.
Yeah.
They don't play it on a Nintendo console, even though there were a bunch of Call of Duties released on the Wii, and they did have online, and people did play it.
Yeah.
There were very few people that played it, but still, like,
I think there's like memes about it.
Yeah, of course, and it's rightfully so, because they're just like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's not a Nintendo thing. It's not what people. Yeah. It's not what draws people to the Nintendo. Like, people aren't buying Switches. I mean, some people maybe, but for the most part, people aren't buying Switches to play Skyrim, to play Doom, like, even though it's on there and that's cool.
Right.
But I think primarily people are buying a Switch to play, Smash Bros.
Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart,
Odyssey,
Mario Party,
like the first party games.
Yeah.
And that's what Nintendo has going for really strong right now.
And it is nice to have those other third-party games, and like, NBA 2K's on there. It's like, huh.
Yeah, it's cool for the people that like that.
Right.
But I don't think that's the main draw.
Right, yeah. And, it's nice to have, because there's people that don't have an Xbox or PlayStation, so they just have a Switch because it was probably the cheaper console. And
exactly.
And they were just like, oh, the cartridge of this game is cheaper than, buying it on another system or buying it for PC or whatever.
Yeah, so it's just, like you said, cheaper option, and it's a portable option. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, people who want that, they could definitely just only have a Switch. But I think a lot of people who are like really passionate about console gaming will probably have, again, a PS4 or Xbox with a Switch as well.
Yeah. I can't imagine myself playing Skyrim on the Switch, though, because we've modded our Elder Scrolls games so much.
I feel like it's such a big part of the Skyrim experience.
Yeah, I mean, remember when we modded Oblivion?
Yeah,
and Morrowind?
Insane.
Yeah, so like, why? Yeah, I can't see myself playing an Elder Scrolls game on a handheld, because it's just like, I want to play it on PC where I can mod it and I can do whatever I want to it, add some cool shit.
Use cheats. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do that on the console versions.
Yeah.
So it's different. Speaking of Animal Crossing, I know you're planning to get it. Have you decided if you're going to get the Animal Crossing version of the Switch console?
I've been holding off on it, but probably if they're still accepting pre-orders.
I know Costco is selling the bundle. It comes with the carrying case too.
Okay.
I think it's sold out, but you could always try checking again.
Yeah, I'll look. But I'm fine if I don't get the Animal Crossing version. Like, it doesn't really matter that much to me.
Right. But it is cool to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know you've been wanting to get a Switch for a while, but your main reason was for Animal Crossing. Yeah. That's the only reason that you told me.
Because I was like, Odyssey looks cool, but I don't know if I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
And then like, Breath of the Wild definitely looks cool, but then I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm even going to have time for that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like, what's it? Smash Bros came out, but I was like, am I really going to play Smash Bros? Like,
I stopped playing it.
Yeah, like, I have friends who play, or who had it, and they played it a lot, but like, yeah, no one plays it anymore. Or at least, or in my circle, no one plays it.
I know a couple of people that do, but like competitively, and I'm like, I'm not going to touch
but
that.
I'm not going to go that route either.
Exactly. I'm just like,
what's a game that fills like a slot in my gaming experience, like that, I know I can take some time to play, and I was like, Animal Crossing, because like, Odyssey and Zelda are like adventure games, and I feel like I already have that. Like, I already have games that fill that sort of that slot for me.
Yeah.
But I don't have that sort of slice of life, like Zen kind of relaxing game.
Yeah.
So I feel like Animal Crossing isn't a game that you're gonna play all day, because like there's the whole time mechanic. I mean, you can manipulate the time if you want, but for the most part, it's like the game that you play for a little bit and then you put down, and then like you do something else, and then each day you kind of just do your daily things. And so like I feel like a game like that's very, very much needed in my gaming life right now. So
same, yeah.
That's my main draw for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I know. We've played almost every iteration, with the exception of
Happy Home Designer.
I mean, like City Folk, like a full release.
Oh yeah,
Happy Home Designer, I would consider a DLC for the game, which technically it is, but it's also its own game.
Yeah. I think for the mainline ones, City Folk's probably the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, City Folk's the only one we never played, but I don't think we were missing out on anything. Did you try Pocket Camp? Because I tried Pocket Camp.
Yes, and it was boring. And I was just, this is not really Animal Crossing.
I downloaded it, played it for 5 minutes, and gave up. And then I was like, I deleted it. I was like, nope.
I was like, I don't know.
Yep, I know. I have some friends who have like 500 hours into it, and I'm like, dude, what the heck?
I have friends who still play Pokemon Go, so
Yeah, same. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You do you. Cool. Have you seen the memes between the Doom subreddit, and basically the Doom community and the Animal Crossing community?
I have not.
So, just to fill you in, the Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing are coming out on the same day, March 20th. And there have been so many memes online, and the communities of both franchises have been like supportive of each other. So like people have been drawing like Isabelle like putting coins on like little bells and coins on the table, and she's like, 1 copy of Doom Eternal, please. And then you have the Doom guy like, I want 1 copy of Animal Crossing. And like
pretty funny.
Even the Twitter account has been like going into it. Like I think it was like IGN or GameSpot posted like an article on Twitter. They were like, which game are you most looking forward to in 2020? And they showed like screenshots of like not every single game, but like some really popular titles. And the Doom Eternal account responded with Animal Crossing.
Yeah, going back to our previous conversation, it's they don't seem like they're competing against each other.
No, not at all.
They're definitely not games that are competing against each other. So it's kind of fun to see them supporting each other.
Yeah, they're the polar opposites too. Like one's extremely violent, the other one's like
older
wholesome.
Audience versus younger audience. But like not that there won't be people who buy both.
Sure, I'm gonna get both for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, like it's funny because they're not competing. So why they need to? There's no reason to act like that.
Yeah, it's great. No, I mean, especially since Doom is on the Switch already, like the first one from 2016.
Exactly. Yeah,
and also like the other ports of Doom are coming to the Switch, if not already on the Switch.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh wow, that's actually really cute because the Animal Crossing community is like, yeah, Doom, and Doom community is like, yeah, Animal Crossing. It's great.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So I thought that was really funny and really wholesome of both communities to be supporting each other. When both of these titles release on March 20th. So hopefully you get your Switch soon.
Yeah.
You have like less than a month before it comes out.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna order it soon, maybe the end of this week.
Yeah. But we won't be able to play with each other unless we both get online, which I'm not really trying to get. Although
you have to pay for the online. Oh, that sucks.
I know you can't play locally. You can only play on the same console.
Oh.
And there's like, did you watch that trailer I sent you of like the party mode and like they kind of explain things?
Yeah. So like, how does that work?
So you can have up to 8 accounts on one console, right? Of different 8 different villagers on the same island. You can have 8 different houses. You can have up to 4 people playing at the same time on one console in a mode called party mode. And then in party mode, one person is the leader. Basically, they do all the talking, all the transactions with any of the NPCs. Well, the other people just follow.
But they needed to have created a character on that console.
Yes.
Like all 4 of them would have had to have their own character, and then yeah, okay.
And when I pre-ordered Animal Crossing on Amazon at the digital version, I preloaded it onto my Switch, but at the same time, I was given a code for Nintendo Online, I think, for like a month or something, because I think they're just trying to encourage people to like play with each other.
Yeah.
in the beginning. So that's kind of cool. I haven't redeemed. I don't know if there's an expiration date. I'm gonna redeem it once the game comes out.
Okay.
But yeah, it sucks that you can't play locally with another console because, like, the 3DS and the DS are like, oh yeah,
you just connect to Wi-Fi.
Yeah. But now it's just like, you got to pay for it. I'm like, even if I'm sitting right next to that person, it's ridiculous.
I know. I get it.
Money.
From a business standpoint,
Yeah.
They got to make them bells.
Yep. And then they're promoting their chat, like text chat application as well as the voice chat application. I'm like, isn't that what Discord's for? Yeah, but I mean, if you want to use the official Nintendo app, you can try, but I don't think it's going to be good.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there was like the Splatoon app, and apparently everyone hated it. That was,
I heard of the voice chat, and Splatoon was terrible.
Because you need your phone to voice chat with people.
So it's like, why do I need an extra device in order to listen in?
I mean, like, I had a headset and my computer plugged in with Discord going, and I was just playing Animal Crossing. Like, I think that'd be the most ideal setup,
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to Animal Crossing coming out next month. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be classic Animal Crossing. If you haven't seen it already, go check out that trailer that was released last week about basically the how the game works and just more specific questions and mechanics about the game. So ending our news roundup, some really sad news. The Konami code creator, Kazuhisa Hashimoto, passed away at 61 years old.
Oh, man.
He created the up, down, down, left, right, a BA start code. So he passed away. We never really used that code in games. We didn't have a lot of Konami games growing up.
Yeah, I think we just don't play a lot of Konami games. But
we only had Contra. That was the only one we played.
Classic. Yeah.
We only played Contra, and we were just like, okay. Yeah, sad. They didn't say how he passed away. They just said he passed away.
Yeah,
so
it's part of gaming history.
Yeah, a lot of people are paying tribute. They're mourning his passing. So I mean, it's really nice of Konami to acknowledge it, and it's nice of the fans who've known that code their whole life to express their condolences to him and his family. Yeah. So to get off that low note, what are you playing right now?
I am playing Legends of Runeterra.
Have you heard of that? Yes, the League of Legends card game.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Hearthstone.
People say it's League of Legends' answer to Hearthstone.
And what's the verdict?
I like it better than Hearthstone right
now. What?
Yeah.
Really? Because
I know played a lot of Hearthstone.
Exactly. I was wait.
I spent a good amount of money on Hearthstone, but
yeah,
I don't know. Hearthstone got kind of stale just because I think so one of the mechanically there's some differences. I'm told that it plays more like Magic the Gathering. I've never played Magic the Gathering, so I don't really know, but mechanically it is different, like the way you play cards, the turn order, the attacking versus blocking. There's it's different from Hearthstone in that aspect. But also the way that you obtain cards is better, or I prefer it to Hearthstone. In Hearthstone, the only way to get new cards is to buy them with real money, or to really slowly grind for coins, and then you buy these booster packs, and then the booster packs just have a random amount of cards, but it's a really, really slow grind to get cards.
Okay.
And there's legendary cards, and legendary cards are super rare. You're guaranteed one legendary card every 30 packs, which if you're playing free is a slog to get even just one legendary card. It might not even be one that you want, and plus there's several classes, right? You can play as a warlock, you play as a paladin, etc. And then there's no even guarantee that you'll get the card for the class that you play. You can get this really good legendary card for rogue, but then you never play rogue, or you don't really have a rogue deck. So it's it's just complete RNG, and it's really, really hard to get all the cards you want. And some of the best decks are just filled with legendary cards. So it's
what?
What? There's some decks where it's just every other card is a legendary card, because they're so good, and it's just I couldn't keep up. I was I can't keep up with Hearthstone.
Wow.
But Runeterra, it's new, so I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the road it'll be different. But at the moment, it's a lot easier to get the cards you want. So the quote-unquote legendary cards in this game are champions from League of Legends. So they're all the legendary cards are only based around champions, and they're actually a lot easier to get. You're basically guaranteed one legendary per week.
Okay.
Which is actually really good. If you do this expedition mode, you're basically guaranteed a legendary or a champion. And also, instead of classes, they have what's called regions. So there's different regions that are in the League of Legends lore. There's Demacia and Shadow Isles, etc.
Yeah.
And you can pick which cards you want to obtain from which region. So let's say if I mostly play a Demacia deck, I just choose Demacia, and whatever cards I obtain with my XP are only from Demacia.
Interesting.
So I can make sure that I can build a deck based around that region. And so it's kind of cool that way, where you can and cards are obtained through a battle pass system.
Battle pass. Okay.
Yeah, so there's this, there's a battle pass where it's if you get this much XP, you'll unlock this kind of box, a gold box, and you get more XP, you unlock a platinum box. And so you kind of know what you get in the box is still random, but you have more control over and more transparency in terms of when am I getting this? How long does it take to get this? And I can at least guarantee that it's going to be in a region that I use. So it's and there's also what's called wild cards, and they're just so there's different rarities. There's common cards, rare, epic, legendary, etc. Champion, etc. And so you can get a wild card, which is just a blank card, and you trade it in for any card you want. So you can literally just craft whatever card you want. But you can also craft using like shards, which you can do in Hearthstone as well. So they're basically giving you a lot of options and giving you a lot of control over like what cards you get. So it's a lot easier to make a deck for someone who's just starting out, as opposed to Hearthstone, where it's like, oh, hey, all the best decks have like 10 legendaries and it takes forever to get them unless you spend tons of money. And even if you spend tons of money, you're not even guaranteed to get a legendary anyways.
Oh, dang.
And so it's just like the way to get cards is just so much easier in Runeterra that it's a lot easier to just try different decks. And it's, you know, like even if there's like this hardcore meta, it's easier for just anyone to eventually get enough cards to play, you know, whatever is the current meta or whatever is the current most popular decks. And so like I appreciate that. I appreciate what they're doing with that.
Sounds like the people that made Runeterra played Hearthstone, and they were like, how can we make this better?
Yeah, and there haven't been a lot of good card games, honestly. Like Hearthstone has been like the biggest. Like there's even like pro competitions for Hearthstone.
Right, yeah.
And then like I know there's like what's that artifact?
Have you tried that?
No, because I was like, this doesn't look like a good thing. This doesn't look like a good idea, especially that announcement. And I was like, okay, maybe it will be good.
Yeah,
maybe like even though people don't want it, like I don't have anything against it. And then it came out, and apparently the way of obtaining cards was even worse than Hearthstone. And I was just like, oh god, they didn't learn anything. And so people just stopped playing. I heard there's like 100 players now globally, and that's pretty sad.
Wow.
But yeah, like I didn't even touch it. And then there's like Gwent, which is the Witcher card game. But I think that has a cult following, but it's not huge. And then there's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and I think
that will never go away. Yu-Gi-Oh! Will never disappear.
But I think again that caters more towards people who played Yu-Gi-Oh! Who are really into Yu-Gi-Oh! And then you have like Magic the Gathering, I think, has an online game, but again that caters more towards the hardcore like Magic the Gathering audience. But Hearthstone has always been the more easily accessible, widely spread online card game.
Yeah, sure.
And so I don't think there has been like a major competition to it until now. I think Runeterra, or I hope Runeterra, catches on because competition's good. You know, it's always good to have some competition who's doing things differently that kind of changes up the game.
Right, and then now it's going to make the people behind Hearthstone think, okay, how can we top them and make our game better?
Yeah.
And that might make you go back to them, but you never know, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the big things is making a card game, even though it's simple enough, like the mechanics are not as complex. You know, you don't have to worry about physics, and you know, like you don't have to worry about like it's all 2D technically. I mean, there's like 3D graphics, but it's technically, you know, it's not as complex as like a shooter or an RPG.
Right.
But a lot of assets go into it. You know, like there's a lot of artwork, and you want everything to look smooth, and you know, people obviously want like 120 FPS options and things like that. Like they put a lot of effort into Runeterra because it's Riot Games. They have like tons of money from League of Legends, and so like it's clear that they put a lot of effort and a lot of money into it, which is good. And I feel like maybe that's why a lot of other card games haven't like been able to match Hearthstone, just because like there's a lot you need to put into a card game to have it feel really smooth and nice. And not that I haven't played the other card games, but like Runeterra definitely does feel like this big AAA card game, you know.
Yeah. Cool. Wow. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I know someone else who was also playing it for a little bit, and they seemed to really enjoy it, and they also liked it better than Hearthstone. So, and that's high praise because finally someone's out there to take them to the ring and see how far they get.
I think it's not on mobile yet, but I assume eventually they'll put it on.
It's gonna be huge on mobile. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Sweet. What else? Is it just Runeterra right now? Anything else?
Still a little bit of Monster Hunter, not as much. Some of my friends have, because of Runeterra, some of my friends have gotten back into League, but I don't know if I want to touch it. I just
don't do it. I played it for like a good 3 years, and the community is really toxic. I know your team won't be toxic, but the other people that you're playing against will probably be toxic.
Yeah,
it's really bad. It's like the worst community I've ever experienced in my whole gaming life.
Just like I'm on Discord playing Runeterra while some of my friends are playing League, and I just hear them talking about some of this stuff, and it gets pretty toxic.
Yeah, it's bad. It's terrible.
It fuels that toxic nature. And my friends are usually not that toxic, but because people on the other team are toxic, or people randoms that they join are toxic, it kind of encourages them to be toxic, and it's just, I don't know if I want to deal with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, people in the Dead by Daylight community are like, this game is toxic. The people that played are toxic. I'm like, I don't know if you've ever played League, but that's worse than the DBD community.
Yeah.
It's bad. What was I going to say? Oh, does Ari have a card in Runeterra?
Ari, I don't think so.
The nine-tailed fox girl? No?
Not yet.
Okay.
I assume eventually, because there's like 120 something or 140 something champions, right?
Yeah.
And they only have maybe like, I don't know, 30 of them in
Oh
Runeterra.
My god. Okay.
Yeah, because you definitely have to balance them, and
sure.
But I'm told that the ability, because like each champion card will have like a specific ability.
Right.
I'm told that the ability, they did a good job of like making the abilities seem really close to what the champions do in League of Legends.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of cool. But again, I don't play League of Legends, so I wouldn't know. But one of my friends who was really into League was like, oh yeah, this is actually really close to League. Like it seems really like they put a good effort into making it similar.
Right. Okay. Cool. Just wondering. I played her quite a bit when I was playing League.
Yeah. I think they have. Was she one of the OG characters, or is she like introduced later down the road?
I don't know.
Because I think most of the characters they have now are like the original characters that they had when League first started.
That makes sense.
So I don't know.
Maybe later. Cool. So you got Runeterra, Monster Hunter, Destiny still playing Destiny?
Not as much.
I see.
Just haven't. I'll probably go back to it eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly a game that I want to play with friends, and we all kind of just dropped off.
Well, that makes sense.
So we'll see. But Borderlands 3 should be coming out on Steam
next month.
Yes.
Oh, no, 2 months from now.
April. Yeah, sometime in April. So I feel like that'll fill that sort of looter shooter slot for me for a while. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, the plan was to just play Destiny until Borderlands 3 comes out. So we'll see. We'll see.
Cool.
But yeah, there's a few games that are coming out in 2020 that I'm interested in. So
yeah, me too. On my end, I've just been playing DBD. There's been an update that's coming out either next month or later. This month's almost over. Well, next month basically. There's a new killer, and he is a cowboy, and he's got a gun. Okay. And my friends and I were joking like, oh, that'd be cool if they had a killer with a gun. And no joke, this dude has a shotgun, aim down sights, shotgun. And I'm like, what is this? And so it's not an actual shotgun. Basically, he shoots you. There's a harpoon attached to it. He reels you in, and he just smacks you. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
The public test build, which is called the PTB, it's what it's what the developers use to release it. Anyone can play the PTB. Basically, it's like for the players to test it out, find any bugs, but also give feedback, as well as test out the new characters, because there's a new survivor and a new killer. I don't really know much about the survivor because kind of focusing more on this killer because he has a gun and you can like literally ADS like and then shoot people. Yeah, one of my friends is like, I really want to play this killer. Like I want to main him. I was like, oh my god, you're gonna be so good at this guy because like he likes shooters. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty intense. The new level is like of course like a Western theme, kind of like an OK Corral, Western little town.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the dynamic fits. But so far it looks good. Probably next month is when it's going to get released. The new survivor has a perk now where you can instantly heal someone.
From
one health state.
Strong.
Yeah. So there used to be these little items called Insta-meds, the little health, like little kits. And let's say someone's like dead on the ground, right? Yeah. Or, like they're crawling. You stab them, and then they're into the dying state, which is like, actually no, they would be fully healed. I don't remember what it was. Because I never used it. I only had it used on me. But I was like crawling on the ground, right? Yeah. And my friend was up to me. He's like, oh, just gotta do something real quick. And he like stabs me. And then I'm back to full health. I'm like, what the hell did you just do? He's like, I gotta use all these before the game nerfs them. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Nice. And it turned out, they did nerf it because they're making it into a perk and not an item anymore.
Oh, okay, so only certain characters can use it, or...
Well, I mean, when you unlock it...
then you can invest into it.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah. still legal. Why did I say League? Still Dead by Daylight. I'm also playing Yakuza 3.
Yeah.
As you know, I got and as everyone else knows, I got the Yakuza collection. It's called the Yakuza Remastered Collection, which is 3, 4, and 5 that are finally on PS4.
It's
now
gonna take you a while to get through all those.
I know. My goal was to beat everything before March 20th, but that's not gonna happen. I got too many other games I'm trying to play. So yeah, I'm trying to finish Yakuza 3. It's supposed to be a lot shorter game. The discs, they came with 2 discs. 3 and 4 are on the same disc, so I'm assuming these games are a lot smaller. Yeah. 5 has its own discs because you play as 5 different characters.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, man, I need to, like, invest a lot of time in it. I think I mentioned this to you before, but, like, I played 0, 1, 6, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm, like, out of order. Like, so, like, I didn't have as much of an emotional impact on 6 because I never played 3, 4, and 5, and I didn't play 2 at that point. So yeah, my whole vision of Kazuma Kiryu as a character was only when he first started as a Yakuza and what he did to start the whole Yakuza franchise. And now I'm just like, oh, now it's over. I'm like, well, time to, instead of playing the destination, I'm playing the journey. So yeah, hopefully Yakuza 7 comes out at the end of this year. It's fully translated. It just says worldwide release 2020. So the Yakuza 7 you're gonna play a new protagonist, and it's turn-based combat instead of action brawler.
It's kind of like a soft reboot.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of people were kind of complaining that, like, why isn't it brawler style? And I'm like, well, they're rebooting the game series kind of. So yeah, a lot of people were complaining about how it's turn-based instead of brawler, and I'm like, oh, I'll try it out still. So I love the franchise. So yeah, playing Yakuza 3. In Yakuza 3, you're running an orphanage in Okinawa, and Okinawa is like a Japanese Hawaii.
Yeah, that's cool.
Everyone wears Hawaiian shirts and they just walk around and they're just chill. I'm like, oh wow, I want to go there now, see what it's like. So yeah, and then something in Tokyo happens where it draws Kiryu back. That's like the premise of every single game. He doesn't want to be part of the Yakuza or like affiliated with anyone from there, but he still has a lot of connections and friends. And someone does something that causes him to go back and be like, I guess I'll figure it out.
I mean, if it works, for a game, usually they're pretty formulaic. So
sure, yeah,
it works.
And like, although that bothers me when it starts the process, I still enjoy every single game because it's the meat of it that I really like the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kazuma is also a very, like, I wouldn't say anti-hero, because he's also like very morally good. Like on the spectrum, he falls like 100% on the good side. Although he does some things that are bad sometimes, and he makes some bad choices. But I wouldn't really consider him an anti-hero. I would think he was just a hero, but he does seem like the anti-hero type because he comes from a terrible background.
Yeah.
But anyways. Well, because of that, now you were making a comment before where if there's like a crime game that's out, there's a chance that I've played it.
Organized crime game.
Yep, I've played it.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book called Tokyo Vice. Have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
So it's a show that's also coming to HBO Max. It's called Tokyo Vice. It's about this guy named Jake Adelstein, who's the writer of the book. He goes to Tokyo. Oh, well, he was a college student at a university in Tokyo.
Is this based on a true story?
This is a true story. And he goes and he gets a job at the biggest newspaper in Japan because he applied and he's the only foreigner to ever do so. So he becomes an investigative reporter. He wants to report on the Yakuza and like the underground stuff. And so he does. And he finds out that one of the biggest mob bosses in the whole country of Japan is getting a liver transplant at UCLA. And and then he's like, wait a second, how is this guy admitted into the country if he's on the FBI's most wanted list? And it turns out he was making a donation of like $1 million or something to the hospital at UCLA. And he was like basically paying off the US government to get the transplant and go into the US. So he was going to release a story, but then some 2 Yakuza guys were like, if you release a story, we're going to kill you and your family, starting with your family. And I was like, damn, that's rough. And the way that he was describing how these 2 men approached him, they were just sitting at a bar and they were talking. They weren't like talking like in the movies. They were just like casually telling him like, oh yeah, if you release a story, we're going to kill you and your family. They're like, you can think about it right now. We need an answer right now, though. Like, they're being very intimidating without yelling at him. And I think that's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah.
Just
being very casual about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's just sitting there like holding his cigarette and like shaking because he doesn't know what to do. And luckily he had backup. There was like a police officer with him. And this is literally like the prologue to the whole book, what I'm describing. So yeah, there's an HBO show coming out. Originally it was going to be a movie starring Daniel Radcliff as Jake Edelstein, but then now there's some other dude. I forget who it was, but Ken Watanabe is going to be in it. I don't know who he's going to play.
If you need a Japanese man in an American production, you get Ken Watanabe.
Ken Watanabe or Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah.
For your TV shows, it's Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah.
For your movies,
movie or movie level content, you get your Ken Watanabe.
We need a Japanese guy. Ken's available.
Yeah. What was that? Who was that Last Samurai guy? Which one?
Not Tom Cruise, the Japanese one.
Weren't they both in it?
Yeah. Yeah, they were both in it.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
Hiroyuki Sanada and Ken Watanabe.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be. I can't wait to finish the book. I'm reading it right now. On top of playing Yakuza, so I'm like doing 2 organized crime stories. Yeah. One's real, one's not. And yeah, this whole time I'm waiting for Animal Crossing. I'm definitely gonna try to see if I can put Animal Crossing and Yakuza in the same time frame. I want to like play both, and you'll never end with Animal Crossing. But I just want to get to a point where I'm comfortable in Animal Crossing. It's kind of that's the perfect game where you can just when you feel like playing it or whenever you have time.
Yeah, there's no like
there's no end game.
Yeah, there's no end game. It doesn't feel like you're pressured to like move fast in the game.
Yeah.
And based on what I've seen, there's gonna be even a lot more to do compared to. I mean, that's always been the case. It's like every further iteration of Animal Crossing, there's more to do. Mm-hmm. And because I believe in this game, based on the what was it, the Nintendo Direct, you can edit your actual the island that you live on.
Yes,
so, like, you can actually like build rivers and waterfalls and roads and things like that. So it gives you so much more customization, which is just gonna add so much more content to the game.
What are they gonna do for the next one?
Yeah, how do you top that?
Yeah, the same with Smash. How do you top that?
Yeah. I heard that, and I heard that this Smash game might be the last one.
It's implied by Sakurai himself, but Smash will keep going on.
Yeah, but I mean that makes sense.
Yeah,
like how do you top everything? Like the next game has to have everything in it. Yeah, because what, they're gonna downgrade from Ultimate?
Yeah, you can't. People will just want more on top of Ultimate.
Yeah, so I think that the goal is to it'll always be Ultimate. You'll just add more to Ultimate. So if there's a Switch 2, it'll be Ultimate 2, which is just the same game but with more stuff on it.
Right, they'll just port it if it's a new console altogether or whatever.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, it's in the name. Like Ultimate means the utmost version of something. You know, like I get that. Yeah. So, but yeah, like with Animal Crossing, it's like how do you top being able to edit your world? Like that seems like. Yeah. I mean, what would you do? I don't know, because the formula has always been the same. So yeah,
we'll see. I mean, I'm really excited to play it. I'm probably gonna get, as I mentioned before, Doom Eternal later on. That's not really a game I'm rushing to play. I did like the single player story for Doom 2016, but I'm not really in a mood to rush the whole single player. Like I don't need to play the single player story for Doom Eternal. I can wait, because I think that's gonna be a game that's gonna go on sale next year. You know, for like $25.
Yeah, it'll be one of those games that'll definitely be on sale.
Yeah. So that's all I'm playing right now. I'm just I'm waiting for Animal Crossing to come out. We'll try to keep busy. I'll always play Dead by Daylight. That's always going to be my mainstay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, everything else will just fall into place whenever I have time.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. All right, if you've listened this far, the podcast is over. But right now, Jordan and I are going to talk some movie spoilers about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh boy.
So yeah, again, if you want to hear it, please keep listening. If you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch it. Otherwise, we are going to talk about it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now starts the Sonic spoiler cast. All right, overall thoughts?
I liked it.
Yeah. Surprisingly, me too. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of reviews about it, and most of the main YouTubers that I watch that review things all said good things. Like they're like, "Oh, it's actually not that bad." Except for Funhouse, they were for whatever reason overly critical of it.
Very, very critical.
And I was just like, "Damn!" Like, I didn't like. I think you're thinking too hard into this movie.
I think so too. I feel like because they watch a lot of movies, and that's kind of like part of the industry.
I watch plenty of other YouTubers who also watch like every movie, and
Sure.
most of them were like, it's pretty good for what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a good kids movie, good video game movie. And
Yeah,
was
but
like,
I think it's because a lot of the reviewers I watched did see it through the lens of it being a kids movie, and I think Funhouse was thinking it just as a movie in general, and because of that reason, they were pretty critical of it.
Yeah, and that's okay. Everyone has their own opinions.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But the general consensus is that it's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like, as someone who like has played, like we've played plenty of Sonic games, like maybe not the most recent one. Well, I know you've played like Generations, but like a lot of the newer ones, the bad ones, we haven't played. But we've played, like the original Sonic games on the Genesis.
Yeah, we grew up playing those.
Yeah,
Adventure
2,
yeah,
2 Battle, Sonic Heroes.
Yep,
yeah, even, you can go as far back as like Sonic Schoolhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We played at the same time we were playing the Genesis games.
Yeah, so like yeah, we have a decent. Oh, we watched Sonic X, the show.
Yeah.
So like I would say we have a pretty decent experience.
I think we have a good resume to justify us like
as Sonic fans. Maybe not like hardcore like make your own character Sonic
like
fans.
Eat chili dogs and praise him, all that stuff.
Yeah, or like I don't own Sonic merch, but I feel like I would consider myself a Sonic fan.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think this is a fresh new take on Sonic. I don't care too much about quote unquote Sonic lore that much.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's a whole other.
Obviously they changed it, but like Sonic lore has never been consistent.
They've tried to keep it consistent though, and I do appreciate that, but I think it's too much.
Yeah, but there's been different versions of Sonic. Like there's like Sonic Adventure. It's Sonic and he exists in just a modern human world, which I think is what they're going for with this Sonic movie.
Right.
And potential sequels.
I got those vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just it's Sonic and he exists in a human world. But there's been versions where he exists in like this either like futuristic world or in this fantasy world or whatever, or in a world where there's only other animals and there's no other humans except for Robotnik for some reason.
Right.
So it's like it's never really been consistent on like what kind of world Sonic lives in. So I'm fine with the fact that what they did with the movie.
I think the most consistent thing is that he's from the planet Morbius, and that's where like the first and second games and third games take place.
Yeah.
And then from then on, you can argue the fact that he basically is in the human world, and Morbius doesn't really exist because he just lives alongside them.
Yeah, and there's several iterations of Sonic 2, like different canons, I guess you can say, because there's like classic Sonic, which I think this movie actually draws more from that. And then you have like modern Sonic. I don't know what to call it, like 3D modern Sonic.
Yeah, people call it modern Sonic. Yeah,
the adventure Sonic. And then you have like the Sonic Boom version, which is different.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's different. Yeah. So I don't think it's that important that they changed Sonic lore. Like they added a new character, Longclaw, which apparently did not exist at all in anything Sonic. But like I don't care. Like,
I think it's sure. If they have to change it for the cinematic purpose, go ahead.
If it's to tell a story, or like the fact that Sonic has these weird abilities, like. In previous games or in the games, Sonic just is fast. He just is. Like that's just it's just a part of him, and everyone just kind of recognizes it. Whereas in the movie, it's treated like it's this special ability that he has that other people want, like including other people from his world. The echidnas attack in the beginning, which is kind of cool seeing that.
That was awesome.
But yeah, like they treat it like he maybe it's not something like that's. Well, I guess something that he was born with, but like something that was somehow given to him or somehow special to him.
His lineage is something special and unique. Maybe he's the last of his kind. Or
something. I don't know. Like it's implied that his ability to run fast is peculiar. Again, like I said in the other games, it just is like no one questions it. But in this world, this version of Sonic, it's like, this is this weird thing that. Has some kind of special properties, like he like shoots lightning and stuff, so that's new. But yeah, like I'm curious where they'll go with that. My theory is that he gets his abilities from Chaos Emeralds, and that's why the echidnas were looking for him, because the echidnas in Sonic lore are heavily attached to Chaos Emeralds. Or the Master Emerald, is that what it's called?
The Master Emerald.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe that's why they wanted Sonic, because he has these abilities from Chaos. And so I hope that's where they're going, because that's what I'm saying. Is like now that Sonic exists in this world where humans exist, and it seems like other Sonic characters, because again, this is a spoiler cast, so Tails comes in at the end,
very very end, like mid-credits scene.
Yeah, so they're implying that more Sonic characters will come from Sonic's world to the modern world. I hope that they're gearing more towards a Sonic Adventure type of storyline, where it's Sonic and friends, and they exist in the normal human world, and then there's like Chaos Emeralds, and there's Chaos, and there's like the egg carrier or whatever. Like, obviously Robotnik's gonna come back.
Yeah.
And so like I'm actually more interested if they go that route. Like, a lot of people were like, oh well, I hope the next movie takes place like completely in Sonic's world.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, based on that mid-credit scene and the ending of Sonic, it seems like that's not the direction they're going. They're gonna keep it with like the human world. And I was like, that at first I was kind of disappointed, but then I was thinking, if they are gonna go with Sonic Adventure, I am actually really excited for that. Like, I kind of want to see that, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think they're gonna go on like an emerald hunt, and maybe every movie's gonna be about every single emerald, like the Infinity Stones. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, where it's like there's different emeralds and they have different powers, and like maybe that's where Sonic got his power. And then I assume they'll introduce Knuckles as one of the echidnas. Yeah, like that's hunting Sonic, because
he's maybe the one that shot Longclaw.
Oh, that would be
dark. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, because like that's how he is in Sonic and Knuckles. When Knuckles is introduced, that's what, like, they're initially enemies, because Knuckles is tricked by Eggman into thinking that Sonic is his enemy who's stealing the Chaos Emeralds.
Yep.
So I assume they'll probably do something similar with his introduction in the movies, where it's like, that's why, like he's one of the echidnas that's hunting Sonic, and so like I don't know. I just hope that they go in that direction, and I want to see me some Big the Cat, some Froggy,
some Amy, some Rouge,
some cream and cheese.
Cream and cheese. Oh, yeah, that's right. E102 Gamma.
Yeah.
Supersonic at least.
Shadow.
Yes.
They gotta introduce Shadow at
why
some
would you not?
point.
Oh man, all the edgy kids out there are gonna be like, yes, bring him back.
Yeah. When they show a trailer, maybe not this next movie. I feel like this next movie they'll probably introduce more of the mainline characters.
It's gotta be Knuckles.
Like Tails, Knuckles, maybe Amy, but obviously Tails. Tails. I really hope Knuckles. Yeah, so I think maybe Shadow will come later down the road.
Third or fourth movie.
Third movie, introduce Shadow in that trailer, and I'm gonna be like, oh fuck yes.
Yes, I'm gonna be like, oh,
he's holding a gun.
Yeah, he's like cocks the gun like in the trailer for Shadow the Hedgehog, the game.
Oh yeah, that would be hilarious.
Oh man, I at the end of the movie, we were both like super hyped. We were like, yes, bring it on. I was like, oh my God, they're going to show Tails. And I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh, they showed the leaves spinning, and then the ring popped out. And then I was like, oh, and then Tails came out. I was like, of course they're going to show Tails.
He sounds like Tails. I don't know who the voice actor is.
It's the one that it's the newer one that voices in the newer games.
Oh, so they actually use the voice?
Yes.
Like, oh, okay.
Whether that's going to be consistent, because they didn't use the same actor for Sonic. I don't know why they would use the same one for Tails.
I think they wanted like a Hollywood actor for Sonic.
That makes sense.
Which is weird. Yeah. Because they don't put his name on the poster.
Yeah, it says
it's just James Marsden and Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
and I was like, why you go out of your way to get a Hollywood actor for Sonic when you're not even gonna put his name on the poster?
It's like Ben Schwartz got thrown under the rug.
Yeah, and he's a pretty good actor, so
exactly.
I don't know, but whatever.
I think he did a really good job as Sonic.
Yeah, like it still felt like Sonic.
Exactly.
Even though its voice is slightly different from the game version of Sonic, like it still feels like Sonic.
Because he looked like it first of all, and then he sounded like he would, Yeah,
and I was afraid that they would make Sonic really annoying in this movie, but they didn't. I don't think like they made him obviously kind of naive and kind of quirky, but and he does like a bunch of pop culture references, of course.
Sure.
But I don't know. I didn't find him annoying.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see.
I think it made sense that he talked a lot because he was isolated for so long, and he didn't talk to anyone.
Yeah, I like the fact that it wasn't, oh, hey, Sonic came to our world. Let's see his adventure of him, as some people say, a fish out of water story, where it's like, oh, here's Sonic in our world, and he's confused by everything. But they did more of Sonic came to our world as a kid, and he grew up in our world, so he's already familiar with how everything works by the time that the story starts.
He's just as human as we are.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, all right. So I like that better, because then it's like you don't have to go out of your way to make Sonic seem really stupid or really, really naive.
Right.
Like, he is naive to a certain extent, but he's able to make pop culture references because he's lived here before, and he's able to kind of understand how things work because, again, he's lived here. So I appreciated that aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Yeah, it was the product placement. It was so blatant.
So the one product that made the most sense, which is the Puma shoes, barely gets any attention. Like the little girl gives it to him, but they don't even focus on the Puma logo. Yep. They don't even mention that they're Puma shoes.
She just doesn't say anything. She just gives it to him.
Yeah, you kind of see that it's a Puma. Like the Puma logo is kind of subtle. It's like it's a Puma graphic, but like you barely see it, and like that's the one thing that made the most sense. But then Zillow, I was like, I guess kind of makes sense because they're looking for houses.
Make a dumb joke about the housing prices in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, but Zillow. And I was like, okay, I guess that makes it. But Olive Garden.
Oh,
why?
That was
why?
Because when you're here, yeah, and he's like, your family. I'm like, what?
Why?
That was so weird.
Like, why is that in there? Did they have some kind of promotional deal? Because I haven't heard about anything. And then why Olive Garden?
Yeah, why? They should have done it with Sonic's the fast food chain.
Yeah, it's literally fast food. Like, yeah, Sonic's Drive-In. Come
missed
on.
opportunity.
That would have been blatant product placement, but it would have been funnier, and it would have made sense. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. But like, why Olive Garden? And then in Birds of Prey, they also mentioned Olive Garden. I was like, what's with Olive Garden?
Olive Garden, why are they?
What is with Olive Garden now?
Why? What is with this big push for
some
you?
Some kind of secret Olive Garden conspiracy.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even show. Well, I guess they show the Olive Garden logo at the end when they give them the gift card.
Yeah,
which was kind of weird.
The second part of the same joke.
That joke is really weird. They pay James Marsden in the Olive Garden gift card. The military pays him in a gift card.
Do you think James Marsden has some kind of deal now with Olive Garden? He just goes there and eats for free.
I guess maybe.
Hey,
you're the guy from Sonic.
Oh God! What about anything else? What else have you done in your life?
Yeah, I don't know. Does he want to be known for anything? I guess Westworld. He's pretty good in Westworld.
He doesn't. He was in X-Men. He was Cyclops.
Yeah, he was Cyclops. I don't know if he wants to be known for that though, because
I don't think he cares.
Yeah,
I don't think he cares.
That's true. I think James Marsden will just do anything at this point.
He puts his 100% into every role he plays, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
He's a working man in the Hollywood industry.
Yeah, he's just trying to get by.
He's like, Sonic, I've never played it, but I'm going to be in it. We're like, oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe he played it. I'm just making a statement.
Who knows? Yeah.
How'd you feel about Robotnik at the end in the Mushroom Zone? Because I thought that was really cool that they showed him in full Robotnik.
He looked like Robotnik. So I would say Jim Carrey as Robotnik is obviously very different from the way Robotnik's portrayed in the games.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because Robotnik in the games, he's just literally just generic evil bad guy. You know, like it doesn't have any kind of standout qualities as a villain.
Right.
You know, so I'm okay with them Jim Carrey-ifying Robotnik. You know, like Jim Carrey as Robotnik is literally Jim Carrey as Robotnik.
Yeah, it's fine.
Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So which I'm fine with, because again, like Robotnik, you could change up that character. Like he doesn't have any discernible qualities. Like yeah. So I'm curious to see what they'll do with that. And like, I guess the question is like, how long will Jim Carrey be willing to do this? Because it seems like they're gonna, if this is successful, they're gonna keep trying to milk Sonic as much as they can.
It seems like he's having fun. I'm probably gonna say maybe it'll be a trilogy, if not maybe 6 movies total. Like we don't know, because this movie clearly is warranting a sequel. It's made its money back, and it already set itself up for a sequel. So we'll see. Yeah,
and I mean, you could have other villains. I know that in other Sonic games, there's been other villains. Robotnik, it usually leads back to Robotnik, but if they wanted to, they could have Chaos as a villain.
Metal Sonic.
Yeah, Metal. That's what I was thinking.
I think
Metal Sonic could definitely be a villain at some point.
He's got to be the next one.
Like they introduce, like Robotnik obviously makes him. They introduce him as a creation of Robotnik, and then at some point, maybe later on, he becomes the main villain, and he kind of takes over if Jim Carrey just no longer wants to do it.
Right. Here's what I'm thinking. The sequel is going to focus on Sonic and Tails' friendship, and they're going to fight Metal Sonic because Robotnik finds a way to come back to the human world, and he built a base on the Mushroom Zone, or maybe he just got fat from eating all the mushrooms, and he developed some technology to take him back, right?
Yeah.
Using the Sonic's like quill that he took, and then either on Earth or in the Mushroom Hill Zone, he's going to create Metal Sonic somehow. And then that's going to be the big baddie that maybe James Marsden will be back. I don't know. And his girlfriend and Sonic and Tails have to fight. Because I think that'd be a good sequel, right?
Yeah. And it makes sense because they introduced the whole idea of like Sonic has these special abilities that can be taken from his quills.
Yep.
So you could have like Metal Sonic is run on Sonic's power.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Because they don't introduce, they don't have the animals inside of the robots, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. The third movie will be Sonic Adventure, not beat for beat, but they will take themes and moments from there. So Chaos will be the bad guy. Robotnik finds Chaos, and he's like, let's team up. I'll collect all the emeralds for you. It's going to be about them collecting the emeralds, and it's going to be, Sonic Adventure, beat for beat.
Yeah, Knuckles will be there.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of 2, they're going to introduce Knuckles. They're like, Sonic and Knuckles, because it's the third movie, Sonic and Knuckles, like Sonic. There's the third game, and then the third movie will have those 3. Maybe they'll introduce Amy or whatever, and then at the end of Sonic Adventure,
then that's when Shadow
exactly, and then they're like, okay, fourth one, guys, last one, and then they're like, nope, never mind, actually, 5th one, Sonic Heroes, 6th one, let's go, Shadow the Hedgehog the movie.
They could do spin-offs.
Exactly.
We'll see. I feel like Shadow's the only one that could probably hold a movie on his own.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna make a Tails movie. Maybe Knuckles. I don't know if Knuckles
I think Shadow's the only one.
I only see Shadow being the only one.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's my ideal headcanon for how this is gonna go.
We'll see. I really want them to dig more into like the Chaos Emerald stuff.
That's gonna be cool.
Because again, the lore doesn't have to be the same as the game, so I don't really care too much about that. But like you got to take the main pieces of it, right?
Yeah.
And so like they definitely again introduced the echidnas, and the echidnas are all like tribal and stuff like that. So they're
cool.
clearly taking that part of the lore, which is cool. But I want to see what else they do with it.
Yeah. It's gonna be really great. They're looks like they have a good track record so far. How about that song at the end though? They got Wiz Khalifa, all right? They got Lil Yachty. They got Ty Dolla $ign, Sueko the Child. Sega clearly knows that hip hop is big. And how much money do you think they spent on these rappers to make a song? The song wasn't even about Sonic. It was about making money. And there was only one line that pertained to Sonic, which is Lil Yachty says best friend named Tails. Everything else was like, let's make money, let's get that cash. I'm like, that's nothing to do with Sonic.
Yeah, it's kind of a throwback to, like, remember when, like, Will Smith was in movies and he would just make a rap song about the movie?
Like Wild Wild West and Men in Black.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a throwback to that where there were rap songs about the movie.
Sure, but, like, hip-hop is the most popular music genre in the world right now. So, obviously, like, they're trying to pander to that crowd. And, they're like, kids love hip-hop.
Because didn't Eminem make a rap song about Venom or something like that?
I don't know.
So I don't know why they're bringing this back, but this is like a thing now.
Because hip hop is popular. So obviously,
but like making a song, even just in general, making a song about the movie.
Oh, right.
Is coming back. Like, I can't think of any other examples from recently.
James Bond movies always have songs about the movie, but like
I feel like that's different.
Yeah, okay. You're talking more like video game comic book.
Sort of cheesy, campy version of like.
Oh, I see.
I see. Whereas like James, I don't know. It's like I'm trying to think what else. I know for sure there's been some other examples, but
the Detective Pikachu movie had the ending song that was made for that movie.
Oh yeah.
It was all in Japanese. It was a rap / singing. So
yeah, I don't know, but it's I think it's like regaining. It was like an early 2000s 90s thing, and now it's like kind of becoming prominent again, where you make a song specifically about the movie or relating to the movie. So I don't know.
Okay, so I was talking to my coworkers today, and we're like, there needs to be a Smash Bros. Movie. And I know we talked about this right when the movie ended, and you mentioned there's going to be a Metal Gear movie coming out in the future, right?
Yeah.
And then my coworkers and I were like, okay, Metroid movie is going to be a horror movie, right? It's going to be a horror space movie. The Star Fox movie will be a space opera, and we're just thinking about like like
how each would fit in.
Yeah, and we're thinking about the original, what is it, like 8, 9 Smash Brothers characters. They're gonna have their own movies first. Like
they'll be like the core Avengers.
Exactly.
And then you spin everything in.
The Mario movie will have all the core Mario characters. You're killing like 20 birds with one stone, because most of the characters in Smash Brothers
Yoshi,
are all exactly
Luigi,
Wario, Bowser,
Peach.
The Koopalings.
You can even
Bowser
throw
Jr.
DK in there.
Exactly. And that would save a lot of time if you had DK in there. I don't know why he would be there, but I maybe he could stand on his own with a movie. But
I feel like to make a full feature film, you'd have to have him talk. Well, I guess there was the DK TV show, so they had him talking there.
Sure.
So I don't know. It just depends.
Ness, I think Mother would be a good movie. I don't think they would do it.
I don't know if they'll do a Mother movie.
They
I
probably
feel like
won't.
It's not popular enough in the West for it to warrant its own film.
It would be a good animated movie in Japan, but not over here.
Yeah.
Who else was Captain Falcon would be interesting.
But
he's not. He's like also not very popular.
F-Zero is just not that well known of a property, so I feel like they'd have to introduce him in one of the team up movies.
Yeah. So we were like, oh yeah, like this would be the other studios' answer to Disney like buying everything, because like all these characters, Disney doesn't own any of these characters, right? These are all like licensed. Like the Pikachu, Detective Pikachu, he's already like through Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Where like realistically, this could be a big like middle finger for all the studios to get together and be like, suck it, Disney, like we're making our own cinematic universe.
That's true. So the one that they could make a movie out of, but I'm just not sure how it would work, is a Legend of Zelda movie. Like that just seems like the most obvious one, because it's a big fantasy epic, which is kind of like popular now, and also it's a big franchise that lots of people know about. But the problem is Link doesn't have a personality. That's always been the case, unless you go back to those.
Yeah, he doesn't talk.
Unless you go back to those really old games, the
CDI games.
Excuse me, princess.
The Philips CDI games.
Yeah, I don't think but like in general, the whole point of Link is that you are Link. Like Link has whatever personality attribute applies to you. Like the silent protagonist trope, that's Link. So how do you? I mean, you could argue Mario too has that, but like you could give Mario.
But Mario talks.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And you could probably give Mario some personality. Like, he kind of has some personality in the games.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, for Legend of Zelda, I don't know how you make a movie with... Because you'd have to have Link as at least a main character.
Yeah.
Unless you make the movie about Zelda.
Oh, yeah.
And Link's kind of just a peripheral character who helps. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be, like one of the obvious ones is the Legend of Zelda movie. So, we'll see. Star Fox would be interesting. I feel like Star Fox has kind of fallen out of prominence.
Yeah, absolutely. Like people are aware, but they're not. It's not extremely popular.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing about Sonic. Not that Star Fox is on the same level of Sonic, but
right.
I don't know. We'll see, because you'll get that furry community on board. So
I mean, you already got Detective Pikachu and Sonic who are pretty much there.
Yeah, but
they're both pretty furry.
But I mean, Star Fox is like full furry.
Yeah, okay,
like,
you're right.
Like animals wearing suits, looking cool, furry.
True, but Sonic's naked.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. But I think Star Fox would be a good space opera.
Yeah, if it's well written, they can make a really cool story out of Star Fox.
Totally.
But yeah, I could definitely see Metroid as a movie.
Oh, that'd be perfect. A horror movie.
Yeah, they've already done Pokemon, like you said. They already
I don't know how they would do the Mario movie. Like they needs redemption, because that one back then that was terrible. Yeah, everyone knows that.
I hope they don't do. Hey, it's Mario and he's in the real world.
Oh no! I hope they just stay in Mushroom Kingdom.
They just have to make an interesting story about Mario and friends, because there's a lot of content, and like Sonic, the lore in Mario is not consistent.
No, it doesn't really connect at all.
So they could just kind of do anything,
Yeah, the
games work in the game mechanics.
The lore of Mario is only pertaining to each game. So like Galaxy 1 and 2, they connect, but it doesn't connect to Odyssey. Odyssey is like by itself. It doesn't really connect to anything else. The only everything that's consistent is like Bowser, Peach, Mario. That's about it, He just rescues her.
Sometimes Luigi. So.
Yeah, he's there sometimes.
Yeah, so I could see them doing that. It would take a while to build up to like a Smash Bros. Movie.
Yeah,
but
they could still do. I think it's possible. They just need someone to push them in the right direction.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of. I don't know if a Fire Emblem movie would do that well in the West. Maybe in Japan it would probably be big.
Yeah.
But we'll see about that.
No, Pikmin. I don't think that's gonna do well.
That's just I don't know. I don't see that being a movie. Kirby would be hard. I know there was a Kirby TV show, but I don't know if pushing a big blockbuster movie of Kirby is gonna do well either, because Kirby's also kind of silent protagonist.
Metal Gear's already in planning, so I mean, that's just a spy espionage movie.
Yeah, that's something that they'll have to, because like all these are from different companies.
Licensing is a huge thing.
Licensing would be a big deal for Smash Bros. Movie, because like Avengers, other than their deal with Sony, for the most part, Disney owns it all now, especially with the Fox deal. So it's easier for them to do that. But yeah, for Smash Bros, I don't know. We'll see. Not that it isn't impossible. I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, what was it? Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh yeah.
That had a lot of characters from different IPs that were not part of the same company. Yeah. And they put them all in one movie, cartoon world.
Or look at Ready Player One.
That's true. Yeah.
Steven Spielberg directed it. I don't think he would be a good director for the Smash Bros. Movie though.
Yeah.
Like even though he's the name, like I don't think he would understand the concept of it.
Yeah, and I'm just curious how they would work in the storyline. Like, they've had stories in the Smash Bros. Games. Like, they had this Subspace Emissary, etc. I don't know if they'll go that route, but I would assume it'd be similar to in the vein of, like, some of the villains are teaming up.
I'd like that.
And then there's also Master Hand, maybe like pulling
Behind
the strings.
literally.
Yeah, like literally pulling the strings behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. As the Master Hand is like the big Thanos villain building up to.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Oh man. Well, I mean, there are only 2 movies in, and I'm sure everything else. I'm sure people are talking about it. I'm sure someone's mentioned it. I'm sure because Smash Bros is huge. So
yeah, and a lot of people know what it is. It's a big IP itself.
Yeah, Nintendo's aware of how big it is, although they don't support the community, which kind of sucks. But
but I mean, Nintendo's ramping up in its own presence. Like, obviously, you have the Switch, which is huge, and then you have that Mario Land.
Oh, Universal Studios Japan, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, Nintendo is definitely, ramping up its efforts in its brand awareness. So
yeah, that's cool.
We'll see. Though I would be cautiously optimistic for a Smash Bros. Movie. But
same.
I think the most likely thing is probably at the very least, like a Nintendo only team up movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
It'll be interesting.
Cool. All right. Any closing thoughts on the Sonic movie before we end the podcast?
So at the end of the movie, when he goes, it turns out that James Marsden and his girlfriend or wife, James Marsden and wife, I don't know her character's name because they don't really say it that much.
She just calls her Pretzel Lady, and I'm like, I don't know what your real name is anymore.
They move all of Sonic's stuff from his hideout in the woods to their attic, and I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And Sonic says this line of like, how did you guys do this? And it never gets answered.
How did they do
How
that?
did they do it?
How did they find
How
it?
did they find his little cave in the woods? If the whole point was for him to be hidden, and he hid for that many years, how did they find it and bring all of his stuff, like drag all of his stuff over to their house?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Same.
Not that it's important, because this movie, there's a lot of things in this movie that don't make sense, and the movie's very self-aware. Like, it knows. Like, the government gives James Marsden a fucking Olive Garden $50 gift card. Like, there's a lot of things that are just like, it's clearly not supposed to be realistic. But still, I was like, how did they do that? Sonic even asks, and they don't answer him. How'd they do that?
Yeah, it's 100% a video game movie.
Yeah, it's not meant to be taken seriously, and that's fine. But yeah, I liked it overall. Thought it was good.
Yeah, same. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed Detective Pikachu.
Yeah,
it was good.
I would say the same thing. Yeah, like I got exactly what I wanted out of a video game movie.
Yeah. All right. If you want to leave us a comment, question, you can go to www.downtime.live. You can submit a comment or question through there. We'll read it on the podcast. You can also send it to us the old-fashioned way at contact@downtime.live. Again, that's contact@downtime.live. If you go to our website, click on the word community, or if you look in the description of this video, you can find a link to our Discord where we talk about everything from video games to anime to movies to music. Join our Discord community. We love you guys. We always read questions. From there, you can also submit your own questions to the Discord and we'll read it from there. Leave us a review on Apple iTunes/Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the podcast. We're currently at 5 stars out of 5 stars, which is pretty dope.
Nice.
Because people just review it and we're like, okay, cool.
Have you guys tried putting your stuff on Spotify?
There's a lot of steps.
Okay.
And there's a whole approval process that we don't want to go through right now.
Okay.
Yeah, iTunes is the big one that we were trying to do for now, and we reached it. And Stitcher is kind of like the RSS feed from Stitcher just goes everywhere else. I'm sorry, from Podbean goes to Stitcher, goes to everywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's good. What was I gonna say? Yeah, if you leave us a review on Apple Podcast/iTunes, we can read it on the podcast. Leave us a comment on anywhere that this podcast is hosted, YouTube, Podbean, etc. We will read it on the podcast as well. No comment goes unseen. Any closing words before we go out, Jordan?
Gotta go fast.
There it is. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to podcast 128. Have a good night.